Good evening, Monarch fans, and welcome to another edition here of Sports Talk with Rags here in Season 4, Episode 11. And tonight here we are honored here to have a few Monarch baseball alums here with us and what we call here on Sports Talk with Rags a little Monarch Monday episode. So here on the second row here right next to me, we have Sam Sinnen. And then next to him, here on the second row, we have Brooks Sinnen. And then underneath me, we have Kurt Sinnen. And then next to Kurt is Turner Bishop. And so the four of you, how are you guys doing this evening? And thanks again for your time.
Can't complain.
Doing great, Rags. Thanks for having us on, man. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Sure, no problem. Well, Sam, let's start with you here. Just introduce yourself here with the listeners, and just talk about growing up with the game of baseball here in our area.
I was just about to say, where do you want me to start?
Yeah.
Um,
Let's see. Just start here with being part of Kellam and then
Okay.
going on to Old Dominion.
Yeah, sure. So started in, I guess, 2010 at Kellam, graduated in 2013. It was a fun run there, and then was granted the opportunity for the baseball scholarship to Old Dominion and be able to play with the two guys below me as well as a couple other buddies of mine. So it was pretty much a dream come true, I guess you could say. It was like all the stars aligned at there during high school and gave us the ability to play together during college.
Right, nice. And Brooks, introduce yourself here with the listeners, and you being part of Kellam and then going on to Old Dominion.
Yeah, I'm Brooks, and I'm the oldest, best looking brother of the four. Wisest. I could go on and on, but my journey started about a decade before all of these knuckleheads. Back in 2000, 1999, 2000, I think is when I started at Kellam. Graduated in 2003. I was fortunate enough to play with a lot of great players and played for a great coach in St. Clair Jones. Was recruited by Tony Guzzo and Sean Doty and Jeff Sixeye at Old Dominion, and I was fortunate enough as well to have the opportunity to play there under a scholarship, and played there for 4 years and enjoyed doing it.
Right, nice. And Turner, here we'll go to you next. Here, just share a little bit of introduction here for the listeners here with high school and then going on to Old Dominion.
Yeah, so I'm Turner Bishop, and just like Sam had mentioned, I started out in 2010. I was very fortunate. I'd actually already known most of the guys just growing up from the driller days, and yeah, from 2010 to 2010 to 2013. That sounds weird.
Long time ago.
Yeah, it does seem like a long time ago. I was very fortunate enough to play with the guys that I played with, and even more fortunate to go on and play at Old Dominion. And just like Sam said, and yeah, really appreciated those days. So,
right, yeah, and Kurt here, wrap up here the first topic here with just introducing yourself here with being a part of Kellam and then going on to Old Dominion.
Well, just not to be a broken record, started out in 2010, graduated in 2013 from Kellam. What an awesome run! Won a bunch of Beach District titles, a few region titles. Never got the big one. Went there our junior year. Lost in the state final our junior year, and lost in the state quarterfinals to Hanover. in Derek Casey and Andrew Kisner, who is now in the big leagues. I believe he just got picked up by the Texas Rangers. But after Kellam, walked on at Old Dominion, fortunate enough to tag along with Sam and Turner. Just blessed to get the opportunity from Carl Nonemaker and Chris Finwood at Old Dominion. And just seems like it was yesterday, and days just flew by at Old Dominion, and wouldn't trade the baseball and life experiences that Old Dominion and having with these guys taught me.
Right. Yeah. Well, hey, appreciate y'all's time. And Brooks, here we'll start with you here next. I mean, when you were part of Old Dominion, and I definitely know Coach Guzzo here with my brother being at William and Mary in the early '90s and playing against Coach Guzzo's team. But when you were part of Old Dominion, Coach Jerry Myers was also the head coach, and Monarch Baseball was part of CAA then.
That's right. That's right. Coach Guz stepped down after his my freshman year, and Coach Myers came in from the University of South Carolina. But yeah, we were in the Colonial Athletic Association for all 4 of my years at Old Dominion.
Right. Yes, and let's see, and Kurt and Sam, you guys had the opportunity of being battery mates.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Sam rarely shook the kid off when I was putting down signs behind home plate. A few times shook off. He probably got hit a little bit, but yeah, for the most part, it was really fun.
Right.
And
Yes.
Mark, for the audience and everyone that's out there watching that doesn't know, like, that guy and that guy way down there
Right.
are twins.
Yeah.
They're not identical if you can't tell, but yeah, if one shook off the other and he got hit, he would hear about it at the dinner table later off that night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Turner, there. Let's see, you played outfield there at Old Dominion, right?
Correct.
Yeah, yeah, and you know what was what was that like? I mean, just having the opportunity of not only growing up around here, but then being part of Monarch Monarch baseball, and then guys that you played against in high school. Now your teammates here there at Old Dominion.
Yeah. Playing for ODU was awesome. I mean, it was unreal. The first 2 years were, a little up and down. Um, Coach Nonemaker used to call pitchers special teams. I just was pitching
Mark,
just didn't work out for me. So let's put it that way. And I was very fortunate enough to go out there and play in the outfield, and it was fun. It was fun being out there on Friday nights with Sam on the mound and Kurt behind the plate, and trust me, we did hear about it at dinner. Usually it was Kurt changing the sign and Sam kind of just let him have it. But yeah, I mean,
That's the best part about being able to throw to your brother, Mark, is you can call him up the mound really quick, use one of the mound visits, and just grab him by the chest protector and say, "Don't ever call him that again," and shove him back.
Yeah, it's the thing is just sibling family rivalry, not only at home but also baseball field from growing up, and then high school, and then being blessed there to even go on to college and be teammates.
A lot of continuity there. I was seeing a lot of the same faces every single day, which was okay with me. Obviously, met a lot of different guys along the way as well, but it's nice to have a lot of people that you can call friends and family around you with with something as stressful as college baseball can be. So it was very comforting in that fact.
Yeah, and Brooks here. We'll start with you on this particular round here with topic. But my brother and I, we grew up Western Branch. We would ride out to Kellam, or Kellam would come over to Western Branch, but definitely hear the competitiveness and the quality of baseball here in our area has just been a consistent thing here, year in and year out.
Yeah, I mean, outside the big three across the country and Texas, California, Florida, I would say we're probably the most underrated hotbed for talent in the country. And I mean, that spans back years, decades. People like Townie Townsend and Alan Irby, Billy Swope, Tony Guzzo, my father, Matt Sinnen. They planted seeds long time ago, and it's really come to fruition over these last few decades. With seeing guys like Michael Kadire and David Wright, BJ, J-Man, Upton, Mark Reynolds, Ryan Zimmerman, Chris Taylor, Daniel Hudson. The list just goes on and on and on. Not to mention the countless Division 1, 2, and 3 stud athletes and baseball players that grow up right here in the 757. To grow up and compete with and against those type of players and those caliber of athletes, it really is a iron sharpening iron type of mentality, if you will. And it's better for everybody, and it's only growing the game around here and in the region.
All right. Yeah, and Kurt, when you were at Old Dominion, I know one. Where did you get the opportunity to play? Summer baseball here to sharpen your skills here after the college season was done.
So summer baseball, 2014 summer, I started out in the Tidewater Summer League.
Oh, okay.
Was supposed to go up to Elmira, New York. Didn't do well in a class. Had to take a summer class. So ended up staying home in the Tidewater Summer League, and then got the opportunity my sophomore year to go play in the Cal Ripken Collegiate League in DC. Played for the DC Grays and Reggie Terry. Awesome manager, gave me an opportunity to just get at bats and sharpen up.
All-star MVP, Mark. All-star MVP that year. Don't let him be humble.
Okay.
There was countless MLB players on that field, but he was the MVP.
Nice. Hey, you always have the older brother as a fan.
Yeah, it's a hype man.
Very rarely. I'm the one that usually smacks him around and gets him back in line.
Right.
Brooks is an awesome hype man. But yes, was an all-star that summer in the Cal Ripken Collegiate League. Got back to school, had a pretty solid year that year, and then got to play under Hank Morgan in the Coastal Plains League. Actually, after my summer in DC, I played 2 weeks for the Pilots.
Okay.
And I tell people this all the time, that my first, I was a catcher, and my first collegiate start in the Coastal Plains League was at second base. And being a 20-year-old kid, Hank Morgan comes up to me and says, "You ever played second base before? Could use your bat in the lineup." And being a 20-year-old kid who's never taken a ground ball at second base in his life, sure, anywhere you need me. Went on to make 2 errors that game, and let's just say that's the last game I played at second base. So, but played there also after my junior year. Was actually the All-Star Game MVP that summer as well. Cool. So I guess it just had a knack for All-Star games with summer leagues. So, but awesome environment out in Peninsula. They do it right. They treat you like family out there, and I can't thank the Morgan family enough for welcoming me with open arms.
Yeah.
Emmy Award winner.
Hank
Yeah.
Morgan, yeah.
And Sam, what was your experience? I know with being a pitcher, sometimes if you threw a lot of innings, maybe you were just on a break there during the summer, but was there a couple of summer
Yeah,
seasons that
no,
you were able to play?
I did. So after my freshman year, I only threw 20, 25 innings, something like that. So Tim Levine at the time wanted me to get some more reps going into the next year. He sent me up to Elmira, New York. I passed all my classes that year. So me, Nick Walker, Joey Garanya went up to Elmira, New York. And if you've never been to Elmira, there's not a whole lot in Elmira besides the Elmira Pioneers. So when I say we got 2,500, 3,000 a night, it had to be every single person from the town.
Right.
But I threw about, I don't know, 30, 35, 40 innings that summer. I don't know. It could be more than that, but got a bunch of starts in, got super comfortable. My coach, Matt Birch, his son ended up going to ODU as well, but he actually ended up teaching me my slider, which I brought into the next year and was a very effective pitch for me, and I'll thank him forever for that. But sophomore year, I didn't throw after that. I had begun to start and eat up a lot of innings. They wanted me to rest that summer. Junior year, got the opportunity to go up to Yarmouth Dennis in the Cape Cod League.
Oh, okay.
Where I started to serve in what is now called mop-up duty. Was not a huge fan of that. And I guess I let it get to me a little bit too much, but and it was also basically minor league baseball and didn't have the success that I was looking for up there. Came back and I asked Coach Mike Marin, who had just come into ODU, I was like, hey, I'm a super competitive guy. I was throwing like trash up there. Do you mind if I go play with the Pilots? Because they were asking if I was available. So I went and played for Peninsula for the second half of the summer after my I guess my lease in the Cape was up. So so I pitched the second half for Hank, and that was a pretty special run there. It was a great group of guys and an awesome coaching staff.
Right. Yeah, and Turner, what was your experience here with summers there while in college?
Yeah, so I wasn't as fortunate as the other guys. As you noticed, Sam did not mention my name in that Elmira story right there because I was sitting next to Kurt in summer school class. So, yeah, I went on my after my freshman year. I went on and I played in the Tidewater Summer League, which is still great baseball. I mean, look, you're getting good, D2, D3 players, and even some D1 guys. And I was plenty happy playing in that league. After my sophomore year was I struggled a little bit. I was trying to figure out kind of what I was, where I could actually fit in at Old Dominion. It wasn't pitching at the time, let's say that. So I found myself back in the Tidewater Summer League, and again had another good summer. Wasn't the Coastal Plains League. It wasn't the, God forbid, the Cape Cod. But it's baseball, and it's at the college level. After my junior year, I was fortunate enough to go ahead and play in the California League, which I enjoyed. It's California. Who wouldn't enjoy it? But the baseball was excellent. And again, it was nowhere near as good as the Coastal Plains or the Cape Cod, but it was high level baseball, and I got to play around some really good ball players, and for me, I found out kind of who I was during that summer, and summer baseball it's a big deal for kind of figuring out who you are as a ball player, because you can go ahead and you can have a crappy season in college baseball, and summer ball kind of did it for me. So especially that summer, 2016.
Yeah. Yeah, and Brooks, when you were at Old Dominion, what were your summers like around the game of baseball?
I believe after my freshman year, that's a long time ago, Mark. You're talking archives, but I played in the Tidewater Summer League as well after my freshman year. My sophomore year, I ended up in Woodstock, Virginia, in the Valley League.
Yeah. Okay.
One stoplight in
Yeah.
Woodstock,
Right.
much like Elmira. So, and then after my junior season, I was fortunate enough to have the opportunity to play in the Outer Banks in the Cape, not the Cape, the Coastal Plains League.
Okay.
I don't believe they have a franchise anymore, but that was a fun summer. Great baseball, all 3 years, all 3 summers, great baseball. But yeah, like Turner said, the summer is a great time. It's a little more relaxed, little less stress. You're trying to figure it out, but at the same time, you're having a good time with some unfamiliar faces or some familiar faces, depending on where you're at. And just a lot of camaraderie and good old baseball.
Just getting reps, man. I feel like getting reps and throwing pitches that you don't normally throw and making it having time to have a tweak in your batting swing or your stride or whatever you need to do is just super important for guys going into a next season. So anything to get you more comfortable at the plate or on the mound in a less stressful setting is very key for these guys, and I think that's why that summer baseball is a huge part of college ball these days.
Yes, I know that. So I couldn't hit. So probably about when I was a freshman, I stopped playing baseball and just stuck to stats full time. But with my brother Mike Ragsdale, if you guys know the Rutherfords, they're pretty tight there with the Rutherfords. So I don't know if you've met met my brother or met his oldest Colin, but my brother played Winchester Royals because there
Yeah.
was no Coastal Plains League at that time. And, one of his pitching coaches was Jerry Myers. And then in the summer of 93, as a grad student from George Mason, Dayton Moore, who went on to be the front office general manager of the Royals in 2015. So it's also like with playing summer baseball, it's also like networking and
No, no doubt.
Oh
getting
yeah.
to getting to meet other players, other coaches. That around the game of baseball, it's definitely a small world.
And
Mm-hmm.
Mark, you're talking 2024 right now, especially with the networking and the transfer portal and all that kind of stuff. And golly, I can't imagine playing summer ball hitting the transfer portal.
Right.
It's super important too for guys that want to get into coaching afterwards. You meet a bunch
Yeah.
of coaches
Yeah.
along the way that are coaching these summer ball teams, and it comes down the road. You got your resume out the door. They're like, "Hey, I'm looking for a volley. I'm looking for a grad assistant, something like that." So, a lot of guys that get into coaching afterwards, it's pretty important for as well.
Yeah, well, let's see, Turner. We'll start with you. After you were done playing, I know that one time when I helped the shipyard buddy here umpiring a tournament in Hampton, I came across with you. Giving back and coaching. Well, what was that? 13U. So
It was.
how was that here now that you were done playing and then having the opportunity to coach the next group of young players coming up?
Yeah, I mean it's awesome. I actually going back to the summer ball days, when I played in the Tidewater Summer League, that season's a little bit shorter than most college ball seasons. We were done like I don't know, mid July, late July, something like that, but we didn't play much. So I actually coached a youth baseball team during that time, and we took that team to Cooperstown, and I loved it, man. Just being around young players, just being around the game, and it's a game that you want to be around all the time, and very fortunate to be able to give back and do those things. So, yeah, I mean, I
Right.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, and Kurt, after you were done playing, have you had the opportunity to coach, back in the Drillers organization?
Yes, sir. So Sammy and I,
Okay.
what year was that, Sam? 2000 and
17, 18.
2017 or I believe 2018. I think it was 2018. We took on a drillers team that actually has a couple, current Monarchs or a couple current Monarchs from that driller team, and Kyle Edwards and Bryce Jones.
Okay.
So shout out Kyle and Bryce. But yeah, just giving back to what gave you your a big part of your childhood. Not just saying from just giving back for coaching baseball, but we got to do it with the drillers, and they were a huge part of our life and our development. And actually, now I'm actually still currently coaching at Kellam High School. I believe this will
Oh,
be my 6th year being the assistant coach, helping out St. Clair Jones and the Kellam Knights. So
okay.
yeah, it's just awesome. Like Turner said, it's awesome. It's the game that parallels with life and trying to teach life lessons along with some decent baseball on the way.
Right. Yeah, that's good. And I think I got March 18th on the schedule here with Western Branch
Western
and
Branch.
Pelham. I know that Roland and St. Clair Jones,
Always.
long time
Mark
friends.
Mark Kurt also coached on one of those driller teams, a Western Branch boy named Harrison Didowick, who
Yes.
you should remember that name because he'll
Right.
probably be playing on your TV one day. He's at UVA now, batting fifth or sixth, starting in center field as a sophomore, and he's one to watch.
Yeah, yes, I definitely remember with starting to help Roland in 2005, his first year, and that's when I first met Mark, and then when Harrison was 10, and 11, he played for my brother. Kind of lost contact with him. When he played travel ball there once he got into high school, but I thought a season or two he played there with the Drillers.
Yep. Yep. He played from I believe his I think freshman summer
Freshman,
till
sophomore, junior year.
Okay.
freshman, sophomore, and junior year, and then our team was half 2021s and half 2022s. So I believe he played with the a couple other like showcase teams like Baseball U or maybe the Phillies for a couple of tournaments. So
Okay.
yeah, Harrison's doing well, man, and
Yeah.
looking for a bright future from him.
Good
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah. And before so UVA and Auburn was two of the teams down in Jacksonville. We gotta give Carl a shout out there with being assistant
Always
coach
shout out
at
Carl.
Auburn.
Shout out Carl, man. Carl Nonamaker.
Honey,
And if you
Great
don't
guy.
know this, if you don't know
Not
this about Carl Nonamaker, he is a phenomenal dancer.
Okay. Yes. Well,
Sam and I had the privilege of getting
The
invited to
absolute pleasure to witness those moves at Vinny
Vinny
Pasquantino's wedding in
Pasquantino's
December.
wedding, man.
okay. All right. And Sam, let's see. So I know that Kurt mentioned that you and him, got to coach there in 17, 18. Are you still coaching travel or high school baseball here in our area?
I am not, Mark. No, just a fan. Kurt's got a lot more love for the game than I do. Just naturally, I think. But no, it was a really cool run with that team, just to see getting these kids from seventh, eighth grade or whatever it was at that point, and watching them grow into young men and being able to form them into the baseball players that they were, but also hopefully making an impact on their lives as well. And all these kids were great kids, but just um, just watching them be able to grow up and graduate is crazy. And now I've even seen some of them out the bar. Now I don't go to the bar anymore because of that. So, no, it was super cool moments to have, and being able to travel with these families and sharing their kids with us for those years was very special.
Yes,
For sure.
and Brooks, I mean, with having younger brothers, did you coach these guys when they were growing up, or are you coaching t-ball there with the mud hen shirt?
Yes,
All
Tim.
right. To answer your question, unfortunately, yeah, I had the upright privilege of coaching all three of these knuckleheads from the time they were about 11, 12, all the way through high school. I'm still coaching one of them every day at work, smacking them around still to this day. But yeah, I've coached for about I want to say almost a decade, because I coached 3 or 4 years before they got to high school, and then 6 years from when they started high school at Kellam. I was in the position that Kurt is in now, until I had my second child, and something had to give, and unfortunately, it was coaching baseball. But yeah, I've had quite a bit of a hiatus until just had my first boy, the youngest of four children, Walker, and he just turned 4 and had his first season of t-ball at Virginia Beach Little League. So of course I was voluntold that I was going to be the head coach of his team, the Mud Hens, and we're looking forward to a strong second season coming up here this spring.
All right. Well, hey, let's see. Appreciate y'all's time, and just hear the last point here that just want to talk about here. And with this one here, we'll start with Kurt. Just for with your experience here with helping their Kellam baseball, just any words of encouragement here for the listeners, because I know that it's definitely important. I know that everybody wants to win, but to be a mentor and to have just a relationship here with these kids. So, any last minute words here for any baseball players that are listening to this, and as high school season gets started?
Sure. First off, baseball's hard. It's in my opinion, the hardest sport in the world. So
Depends what side you're on.
well, anyway,
Spoken like a true pitcher.
Right, yeah. Maybe throwing isn't that bad, but hitting,
Yeah, baseball's hard, and it just seems to keep getting harder. With all these pitchers throwing 95 to 100 miles an hour nowadays, and just keep working, man. Baseball is not that sport that you can just roll out of bed and be great at, unless you're a first round draft pick stud that's more athletic than everybody else. But it's a sport that you really gotta work on your craft, and especially in today's game with the transfer portal, it's getting harder for high school kids to get seen. All these coaches are holding spots for guys that may pop up in the transfer portal, and you just gotta when you're doing these showcases and going off to these tournaments and places and to be seen, do something that's going to get you seen. Whether it's throwing the ball hard down to second base, or running hard 90s, or just do something that's going to help you stick out. And like I said, just every day, if you're not doing something every day, somebody else is. And if that's not what you want to do, then you might want to go find a different sport to do. So baseball is just one of those sports, man. You have to do something each and every day. Obviously, there's definitely a rest day here and there, but baseball is something that you got, whether it's the weight room, in the cage, long tossing, throwing a bullpen, all the above. The mental side's a huge side as well. Just from a mental standpoint, I'm 5'9", but used to be think I was the biggest, baddest dude when I stepped into the batter's box. So, just pack your lunch and go to work, man. That's something that you got to live by if you're trying to be great at baseball and taking that next step into college level.
All right. Well, thanks, Sam. Any future pitchers out there that's listening to this? Any words of encouragement here for those pitchers out there?
Well, first of all, welcome to the winning side, to the dark side. But no, I'll just say this. Just because my father had a tough conversation with me when I was 15 years old. He looked at me in the dugout of a baseball tournament, and I'm not playing, I'm not hitting, and I'm wondering why. And he's like, Sam, you're not a very good hitter. He's like, do you want to play college baseball? And I was like, absolutely, yes, sir. It's always been a dream of mine. Watching my older brother grow up play college baseball, of course I want to do that. He's like, let's try pitching. Let's work on that. So I focused on in the weight room on getting my legs stronger and went out to the field every day and long tossing and doing all this, getting my arms stronger, focusing on my craft and sequences and things like that to get seen. And just to say to pitchers, it's okay if your career gets stopped short in the batter's box, especially for high school kids. Like it's going to come to a stop for a lot of us at some point. But and maybe if you catch it early enough, you can get on the craft of pitching and get seen that way. It's not the end of the world. I promise you that. You can definitely make a career out of it. So that's what I got personally.
All right. Well, thanks, Turner. Any last minute comments here for those outfielders here that are or any of the ball players that are listening to this?
Yeah, I mean, I would just keep it simple, man. Just do the best you can. I mean, if you can look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, I did the best I can, that's all that matters. Because what I'll tell you about baseball is there's a lot of good baseball players, man. There's a lot of good baseball players that don't make it to the Division I level. They don't make it to the Division II level or III. But I truly believe good things happen to good people. And if you do the right things and you're a good teammate, good things will happen to you. So just put your head down and, like Kurt said, go to work.
Yeah. Well, hey, thanks. And Brooks here to finish up with you here. Any words of encouragement for those baseball players that are listening to this?
I don't know. I feel like I've been around travel soccer for the last, 7-8 years. So I could probably tell you a little bit more about travel soccer than I could about youth baseball. But no, I think all three of these guys touched on some great points, and they all alluded to the fact that baseball's hard. That the chances or the probability of anybody playing baseball for a living is almost slim to none. I don't know what the percentages are, but they're not very good. So when you're playing the game, enjoy it. It's not going to last forever. Keep an open mind. There's so many parallels between baseball and life, and you can learn so much about life through baseball. Our dream started many moons ago, before we were even born. Matt Sinnon starting the Tidewater Drillers because a guy named Townie Townsend told him he needed to give back. If he loved the game, if he professed to love the game, he needed to give back. And that's what caused him to start the Tidewater Drillers many years ago. But it's over the years developed into one of the top baseball programs in the country. And a lot of that has to do with guys like Matt Sinnon and Brooks Sinnon and Kurt Sinnon and Sam Sinnon and Turner Bishop giving back, Gary Wright. The list goes on and on. But they don't just teach baseball lessons. They teach life lessons, and they teach you how to be a better person, a better member of society. leave the game and leave the life that you live better than when you got there. And that's the biggest thing that I can give to the youngsters out there.
Right.
You look at my gray hair here.
Well, hey, I certainly appreciate all four of y'all's time. Sorry for going a little bit over, but
It was a pleasure, man.
a lot to
All
talk
good.
about, and that's a wrap here for tonight. So thanks again, guys.
Go Monarch.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks,
Go
Brad.
Monarch.
Appreciate it, man.